We are back, and after the longest of the long hiatuses and spring breaks, we are here with what you will soon hear is going to be called Season 2. What that means is absolutely nothing. In fact, there's no even real reason to have a Season 2. It's basically a half-assed excuse for us not having done an episode in a long time. But that doesn't matter because we are back on this episode. We will put out one episode a week going forward. We will be back to normal, and we will have some surprise things in store coming up soon. So if you would, please make sure, if it's been a while, to like, comment, subscribe, share, talk us up, talk shit, whatever you want to do. If you need a place to see all of our socials, go to www.pcbombcast.com. In fact, that's going to be updated after a long and painful thought process and holding on. I'm going to finally take the Flops picture off there because she just don't want to do it anymore because she's a big namby-pamby. But other than that, the 3 or 4 of us are going to be on here, except for Jay, who's going to be gone for a little while. Probably double booked himself a lot in August with some things with the kids, and then also with his own podcast that he kind of neglects ours for. Just kidding. Anyway, this is a long intro. I'm just super excited. We go right back to where it all began. This episode's just Bender and myself. We do a lot of it's about a mixed bag of half and half, some personal stuff at the beginning and then some pop culture stuff at the end. Hopefully that's kind of where we're going to look like from here on out. Maybe be a little bit more funny for you guys. Who knows? Maybe we'll be a little more dull, maybe more serious. Maybe we'll talk hard politics. I doubt it, but maybe. Either way, here comes the brand new, absolutely the same, improved bomb to start season 2. Episode 1, or is what I like to affectionately call episode 265, right after the bomb, which is now. Drink here.
Yeah, you're back to drinking during the weekend.
I've been for a while. I don't ever not drink during the week.
Well, I think last time I was here, which was a while ago, it was like, I'm going to try not to drink Monday through Thursday or something like that.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to switch from, like, beer to whiskey. That way I drink less calories.
Yeah.
But, I think the last time you were here has been probably 2 months ago.
I think it was April.
April. God damn.
Like, it was, I think the last time I was here was right after Comic-Con.
All right, well, then I guess we can just say we are back.
Yeah.
And, Planet Comic-Con. Yeah, Planet Comic-Con. So this is, first episode in a long time. First episode in about 5 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I started to feel bad, but I'm like, you haven't done an episode.
Well, I didn't do any by myself because I, too, was busy. Everyone else was busy. So what I unofficially did, and you guys are hearing it first, is season 1's officially over. This is now season 2 of our podcast.
All right, cool. We're going to do a rename?
Well, no, we've done that once. A couple of things we're going to do a little different this time around. This time around, we're going to do a little bit more drinking, or some drinking during the podcast.
I always do that.
We're also going to talk about pop culture stuff.
Okay.
We're going to occasionally do a comic book episode.
All right.
We're going to occasionally probably do a wrestling episode with Jay and Tom.
Okay.
So, in other words, absolutely nothing's changing between season 1 and season 2.
Sounds fine.
We just took a summer break. It's kind of what we did.
Yeah, no, everybody does like those 4 or 5 week hiatuses.
Yeah.
We deserve it.
Yeah, we've been going hard for 270 episodes or 74 episodes. I think this is 267. I don't know. Who knows what number it is, but what it is, it's episode 1 of season 2.
Yep.
Which I will not number it that way. I'll just continue the other. So what I'm trying
you
to tell you guys...
You don't want to marvel it?
No. We'll go like every 3.5 years, we'll go back to episode number 1.
And then like half a year later, go back to like episode 297 for whatever reason.
I did want to talk. I mean, I'm sure we've got a lot of pop culture stuff we could talk about here in a little bit, but I did want to talk about something in particular because I think it's a fitting theme for this episode. Because since we've all been a little too busy and too sidetracked and a little too preoccupied to do things, to do the episodes of late, I did want to talk about. I texted you Friday, you and your cousin. Oddly enough, your cousin still has yet to respond, so I'm guessing he wasn't.
That's a pretty solid no.
I think. But I mean, no courtesy response. Hey, sorry, I was on the river.
Yeah, he texted me today. For the first time in months.
Yeah, I talked to him. Well, I guess last time I talked to him was we just mentioned before the episode of the funeral. But I texted you guys Friday. Our volleyball team kind of fell apart. It didn't really fall apart, and actually it all kind of worked out. We knew one couple was going to be gone for the day. then one of the husband of the other couple got called into work, so he was going to be pushing at game time. And then we're going to do pre-drinking before it, and the wife of the other couple walked in. She goes, I have friends that are stranded in St. Clair County on the side of the road, and they don't know anyone in this city but us. And,
that sucks.
And it was with their kids and their 2 dogs, and so they were like, she was like, I don't know if I'm. So that's why I sent the emergency text out. But as it turned out, they did know someone actually in St. Clair, which makes a lot more sense. So it all worked out. But what made me laugh is your response. It's a long way to lead into this first topic, and I wanted to talk about this because this happens.
Being long-winded?
Yeah, this is what happens in my relationship. So I wanted to elaborate it on a little more on yours. You said, let me check with the wife, make sure I got nothing going on, and then a little bit of time lapse goes by. And I sent you a text ago, so you in or out, and you're like, hold on 1 second, and then you finally came back and you go, I kind of got a little bit of grief from the wife, and I don't want to start the weekend off with a bad foot. And I laughed. I didn't tell Missy why I laughed so hard because
I kind of threw her under the bus a little bit. I shouldn't have done that. She was like, I mean, she said I could play, but I got like that, you can play, and I was like, I don't really feel like playing anyways. It's fine. I'm not going to put up this fight, you know. But I did throw a little under the bus.
Okay, so you did, but it still it cracked me up because there's certain things that I too in my relationship. This is something that is probably of all the things, and trust me, I'm happily married now and I always get it wrong. I think 13 years.
Yeah, that sounds right. Because I think I'm 12.
Yeah, and so, but the absolute worst thing for me is when we have a fight on Friday.
Yeah,
going into it, and not even a fight. But let's just say, and I'm going to air quote this for people, I do something wrong.
Yeah.
Going into it ruins the entire weekend.
Yeah, well, and not only that, like I said, she didn't say I couldn't go. She just kind of was like, yeah, I guess, you know, like that tone. And I knew my mom was taking the kids on Saturday and we were going out.
And you absolutely did not want to be.
And I was like, I don't want to ruin this.
Yeah. Yeah. So when that happens to me, and I'm not going to say it happens a lot, but I can tell you there's those pitfalls are out there. And I've tripped into them and fell into them, impaled myself on the spikes.
Yeah. And normally, like, it's weeks like where I'm doing this and then I'm doing volleyball and then you asked me to do volleyball again, but like I haven't really done anything except volleyball on Thursdays, and she's been coming the last couple weeks, so I was like, I really do have an out, you know, like she can't really be mad, but I was like, it's still not worth it.
Yeah. And the only hope that I ever get when that happens, and I do say sometimes I put my foot in my mouth. It's not always her fault, but I, for the sake of our podcast, I'll say the majority of the time.
Yeah, sure.
But
they don't listen.
So
yeah,
they
don't.
Know. She didn't even come on. She quit the episode.
Yeah,
or quit the show. But I will say that one thing that makes me happy is if we do fall into that, I'm like, because you said you were going out and you invited us out, and I'll tell you a little bit about my night. In a little bit. I wasn't able to go out with you guys, but it's always the only thing that can somehow salvage the weekend. The next day. Because I can tell you, if that happens, if I do something on Friday and it messes up, I know it's Sunday night before. If it was my fault or not, I have to end up apologizing on Sunday night just so our Sunday night's fine. Yeah. But I stubbornly will not do it the next day. So what I hope happens is we do have plans like you guys had. Because then when we're in public, you're forced to interact, put on a good face. And sometimes you end up just tricking yourself back to being in a good place.
It's like, I guess we're cool.
Yeah.
Fucking asshole.
Those are the best.
He does look cute in those shorts.
I was sitting there thinking about that the whole night. I was like, or the whole next day, I was like, well, if we do a podcast this week, we're gonna talk about it.
Go ahead.
No, it's the worst.
Yeah. No, it sucks. Like, and she doesn't play. Like, she came up on Thursday and we were maybe going to be short a girl. I was like, if we're short a girl, I'm going to need you to play. And she's like, you better find somebody else to fucking play.
Yeah, you're playing with 5. You're playing with 5 that
fine.
night.
She goes, I will absolutely not play with you any sport ever.
Well, has she ever done sports?
She used to play softball as a kid. And then...
In her post teenage life has she
No,
played?
I don't think so. No, and then like
Wasn't even a cheerleader.
she swam a little bit in college, but that's just because she learned. That's when she learned how to swim.
Holy cow, for real?
Yeah, she never knew how to swim.
Huh.
Her mom doesn't know how to swim. Well, I guess Diane can swim, but she don't love it, and her dad has.
You know,
no
they
idea
don't
how to
look
swim.
like a family of swimmers.
They're all short.
Yeah, they don't.
just tiny legs.
It's not like they have like what you would call an athletic build.
Yeah, like even Michael, who's a little bit taller, is like gained some like
He's
muscle
muscled,
mass from
not an
fucking
athlete,
lifting weights.
just a
He's like-
weightlifter.
yeah, he's like I don't ski or swim. Everything I just sink in everything.
I'm not what you call agile.
Yeah.
I'm strong.
Yeah.
That's my. What's your
Big
physical ability? To pick up weight.
Yeah.
Can you throw a ball? Nope.
Well, I think he does jits now, and he's always like, "You wanna spar with me?" I'm like,
Yeah, he tells
"No."
me. He told me that in
No.
Kansas City when he got hammered, and it was a combination of I really want to roll with you, and then I really love you, and gave me a big hug.
Yeah, he's hammered.
Yeah, the least aggressive jiu-jitsu practitioner of all time,
Oh, yeah.
and the most loving person on the
Oh
planet.
yeah.
Which is funny.
Good times.
Yeah, so the reason I didn't go out with you guys, and what did you guys end up doing Saturday night? Anything?
Nothing crazy. We went to Rack House for dinner.
That's
Then
always
we
good.
went to Exit 6, and we went to Alios, played some bocce ball.
Is that a
bocce
lot
ball.
like Aiello's?
Aiello's, yeah. And then went to another bar called Turtle Creek, and then everybody was
I know where
kinda-
Turtle Creek is. Man,
Everybody was a little house, so we went back to my house.
who all was in?
Just the neighbors.
Oh, okay.
Jake
Bryce?
and Natalie, Bryce and Laura,
I like
and
Bryce.
Lee and Tanya.
We went to Turtle Creek and ate one night because
I have eaten there
we
once.
were just looking for something new one night and driving aimlessly around.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's a bar and grill out here. It's
Yeah.
less a grill and more bar. But I will say the wings were fine that we got. I got
Yeah.
hot wings and they were pretty
I
solid.
think I got a burger from there once when we first moved into the neighborhood, and I thought it was fine.
It was a weird time though, because we walk in, and I'm a bar. I sit at the bar. If it's me and Missy, we sit at the bar because I like the conversation you can
Yeah.
run into at the bar. I like interacting with the bartender. And we go to sit down, and we were saying, "Whoa, those are reserves," and there was 2 reserved seats.
Oh.
So we had to move over, and apparently the same old couple sits in the same spot every time. I'm like, okay, and like there was no signage. It was just you just have to know.
Jen and Martha's spot, man.
Yeah, that's easily what it was. I was like, okay. It was a weird atmosphere when we went in that night. It was definitely a more of a regular haunt bar.
There's the regulars there.
Yeah, it's not one that they get a lot of new walk-in traffic.
Yeah.
They get a lot of local traffic. Which
They had
is,
music on Saturday night, though, and it was pretty good.
there was music when we were there too.
It was a lady singing. She was pretty solid.
Well,
But, it was fun.
the wings were good that I got,
It's
but
a nice little place.
yeah. So we didn't go out, or we didn't come out because Missy and Hayden ended up going to one of Missy's friends' house, and because Kaylin and I, my oldest daughter, we went to go see Role Model. I can't tell you what the guy's name is. It's really only one person. I can only tell you who he is. He is Emma Chamberlain, who's like mega influencer. It's
Okay.
her boyfriend. And I had
These are words, I assume.
yeah. I get it. You don't have a teenage daughter, so
Yeah, no, I know.
but he, I tell you, I didn't have much information going in. I didn't know him. Mm-hmm. And she had played a couple of his songs, and I was like, oh, this is going to be fine. I'll tell you this. He put on a show. He was entertaining.
Good. He's a cute kid.
But I sent out a message on the Facebooks. We got there. My daughter, she's now one of those people, and like I was when I was a kid. I mean, when I was in college, I camped out overnight to get Star Wars tickets for them.
Yeah.
I mean, so she's like that with she's got to get Barricade. And the reason she takes me...
That's like a...
Right, stage. At the
It's
stage.
pit.
Yeah, at the edge of this pit,
Yeah.
right at the stage.
I assume they're not...
Her
pit
her
guys.
exact words were, yeah, there's not mossing.
Yeah.
Her exact words, because Missy goes, you don't want to take me? And she goes, no, because you're going to complain about standing in a pit all night, and Dad will just go to the bar and drink.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, well, that's true. You can't argue with her logic.
So, is it... She's what, 16, 17?
She's 16, yep.
So, are you not comfortable with her going, like, down there by herself?
No,
yet?
she's gone concert. When she doesn't have friends that knows the band, or if
she
it's...
takes you guys.
No, me.
Oh, you.
There's no you guys.
Yeah, it's
Apparently,
just you.
we're also going to...
I get it, though. I mean,
Yeah.
16-year-old girl, like...
There's also, that's probably 50, no, because she loves going with her friends. She went to go see Tyler, the Creator, with her friend, just
Okay.
those two. It's not the danger, because she's pretty good now at navigating the loop in
Yeah.
those areas. It's two things. One, if she doesn't have a friend she thinks will either pay for the ticket or even likes the band, she doesn't want to go with anybody that's...
Not as into it as she
Kaylin
is.
is the ultimate gatekeeper.
Okay.
She does not like anyone new coming to the party. Like, I don't want to take them because they're not a real fan, and then I'm gonna have to hear about them liking them now. I'm like,
okay.
yeah. So she hugs the thing she loves
Okay.
with a death grip. And then the other part to that is I don't know that I ever say no when shit comes to merch and stuff because
I was gonna say there's definitely the you're gonna get some extra shit out of it.
Yeah, because I can't in good conscience as a guy that goes and spends too much at Comic Cons tell my daughter no when we're at a concert. Now, the only thing that's making it borderline where I can say no is she had 5 concerts in the month of June. So she gets a lot of merch.
Well, like, and then Missy posted her little picture of like her wanting to go to Chicago for Harry Styles, and Rich was like, I'll donate to that. And then we were talking about it, and she goes, how much is that? How much could it be? I looked about, I was like, where she wants to be, $900.
Yeah, well, and those started, keep in mind, that's fluctuating prices. Those started at like $60.
Oh, wow.
And we all 3 got on, tried to get tickets, and then they would jump up and down and jump up and down, and even at Ticketmaster had some for like $1,100 for those.
Well, whatever I got on Friday when we were talking about it was $900.
Those are pit tickets for those that don't know to Harry Styles. But anyway, so we go to the show, and we get down there at about 3 o'clock, 2:30, thinking, there might be a line. There's no line. So we go eat at Three Kings because she has now got to where she likes that place as much as anything down at the Loop, and it's good.
That's because it's a great place.
Yeah, it's great. It's got good beer. The food's good. So we went there to eat, and then I said, well, let's walk. So then we did some shopping. We went to Vintage Vinyl. She found her a couple vinyls, but we had to save them because it was so fucking hot they couldn't stay in the car.
Yeah.
Which she went back, got them the next day, but there was a little pop-up shots that had the road blocked off, and they had a bunch of pop-up tents and stuff. I guess kind of a part of Pride Week or weekend in St. Louis, but not really Pride specific.
Yeah.
But so we did a little bit of walking, and then I'm like, well, let's go down there, and if you see no line, we're just going to dip into ITAP, and we're going to finish the Cardinal game. And that's what we did. So we dipped into ITAP. I had about 2-3 beers there. I got housed on the night. Nice. And then we go down, and so she says, well, there's still no line. Well, what she did, she walked down a little bit when we were in ITAP to go see, and she didn't see a line. Well, we're walking down, and there's the Halo Bar line. There's only like 4 people in the Halo Bar line because you got to be 21 and over to go in that way.
Okay.
And I was like, she goes to get in line. I go, what are you doing? She goes, getting in line. I go, that's not the line. She goes, well, yeah, it is. And I go, no, that's to get into the Halo Bar, and you're not old enough to do that. So we walked around the corner, and there was a giant line. But it's okay. There was a giant line on the left, which was general admission. But she bought VIP tickets, which was we were 15 back in the VIP line.
That's not bad.
Yeah. But I'm looking at the line, and I shit you not, when I made this post, there was probably 150 people total. Mm-hmm. Only dude. I was the only dude. And certainly in the VIP section, I was by far the only guy. Okay. And so we go in, they let the VIP go in. There's probably only 75 at most. And they all got barricade, but we got to be there. And the dude came out and answered about 30 minutes worth of questions and talked to the girls, and they brought him presents.
Very personal.
Yeah, it was super cool. They don't do, because of quote COVID, they don't do like picture opportunities like they used to, but instead they do these like Q&A. I did it with Zane Lamprey when it was when he was at Four Hands. But yeah, so we just got to sit there. I asked a question, and the guy goes, that's a fantastic question. And so Kaylin kind of bragged on me a little bit because I was like, they were all shy teenage girls who were love struck. So I kind of got the ball rolling. I said, you got a lot of fans here that bought VIP tickets for you. I go, who's the one band that's touring or that you know of now you would buy a VIP ticket for? And it was pretty fun. But I'll tell you this, long story short, well, and I also at one point, because it was so hot outside, I went to the comic book store, and I told you about my experience there at Wizard Wagon. And then I went into Pinup Bowl and had me a beer.
Nice.
So I didn't have to wait in line.
Yeah, no shit.
Then I went back, and then when we were in there, and before the first band, after the VIP, we still had like an hour and a half before the concert started, and there's no seating. None. No chairs. Because it's just the lower level. They didn't have the upper level open. Okay. So I'm like, fuck, man, I really want to sit down. So I was like, I told Kaylin, I texted her, because she was not leaving the rail, and I go, I'm going to go into the Halo Bar because you can go in and out. I said, I'm just going to go in there. I was the only one in the Halo Bar. I ordered a beer. I asked them if they'd turn the Cardinal game was over. I asked them if they'd turn on the women's national team in soccer. So they turned it on. Me and the 2 bartenders talked about soccer for about 30 minutes, and then one of the bartenders bounces out and comes back, and he goes, hey, man, I hate to do this to you, but we're going to close this tonight. I go, yeah, this show's not really a big 21 and over show, is it? He goes, dude, you're like the 5th person we've had since the get doors open. Yeah, so I go, that's no big deal. And he goes, well, you don't have to leave. And I go, I don't? And he's like, no, I just want to let you know, if you want another beer now. And I go, well, no, I've got plenty. And he goes, okay, well, we're shutting everything down. You sit and watch as long as you want.
Oh,
I just don't want you to feel. I don't want you to be mad because we're closing around you. I go, fuck no, dude. I'll finish. So I finished the beer, finished the soccer game, went back in, saw the last 2 or 3 songs of the opener, and then the main act come on. I go, well, this worked out perfect.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. Long story short, there was more guys.
Okay.
Those guys were.
Also fans?
The majority of those guys were diehard fans of him.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did see a maybe early 20s. He said he was 22. I don't believe it, but a 22-year-old black guy who was dressed like a b-boy from the 1980s, like from Breaking, like he was a extra in movie Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo. And the reason I point him out is because I was sitting right next to the bar with him and his girlfriend, and she is in love with him. Just this really uppity-looking white girl who's probably making Dad mad with him.
Yeah.
But she was grabbing his face. She goes, I don't care what we have to do. The whole reason I'm here is you. So if we need to go find a place to sit down, we will. And he did sit down. Not on purpose. Boom, passed out right there on the floor.
No shit.
Like, right. And so he sat in front of the bar. People were walking by left and right. And then finally the security came and they went and got a medic or a paramedic. And he came in with the cop, and they're like, how old are you? And he's like, 22. And they're like, have you been drinking? He said, no. And I laughed, and I was like, from me to my refrigerator from him. So the cop laughed, and he got him. I go, he's dressed to be popping and locking. And he goes, that boy popped something, I can tell you that. So that was my night. It was a good time.
That's fun, though.
Yeah.
It's a good experience for the kid. I mean, she likes that
stuff.
Yeah,
and we're going again. Like I said, we get back from, we go to Denver in 2 weeks. And when we get back from Denver, I think we're going to another concert.
There's the dogs.
Yeah, Jenkins is. Missy and all of them arrived home. So, yeah, now they got to open the door for Louie.
I'll let him out.
All right. Well, anyway, so for those listening at home, if you do have teenage daughters, you got to prepare to do this shit. And like Bender said earlier, like I both like that she wants to take me. And I both absolutely hate it because I got to tell you what, after getting back from New York, having the first full weekend at home, the last thing I wanted to do is go watch a fucking concert of a band that I absolutely didn't know. But it all worked out anyway. Go ahead and grab me one while you're in there. I'll take that one you brought me. I'm okay with it, 8%. I'm not drinking tonight, so I might as well have an 8% beer.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, but anyway, so that was my Saturday night, and my little family life thing. But I guess if let's see whatever. I mean, before we get into pop culture stuff, you went on vacation not too long ago, right?
Yeah, we went to Jamaica. The wife and I. It was fun.
Now, was that the one where you went with friends, or was that?
Yeah, it was friends.
Okay, yeah, there was a lot of you. How long ago
we were there for Sunday to Tuesday.
Okay, yeah, that was an extra trip though.
Tuesday to Sunday.
You had a bigger one where you went with more friends before that, right?
No. We went to Colorado, and then we went to Jamaica. There was supposed to be more people that went, but...
Did you guys go somewhere in Texas, maybe? Or
that was last year.
Oh, that's probably what I'm thinking of.
It probably popped up on the
time doesn't make sense post-COVID.
Yeah. No, that was last year. No, me and Rach went to Jamaica a couple weeks ago with some friends. And it turned out I was the only guy, because... so it was me and 5 women.
Okay, this is a different trip than I was thinking of because you clearly had some of your other friends over there.
There was supposed to be 2 other guys that went.
What happened with them?
One is a union stagehand, and I guess like Lion King came in and he couldn't get out of it.
Okay.
And the other guy got COVID one day before we left.
Ooh.
That's not true. He was 6 days in, and they were like... And he's like, there's no way I'm going to test negative. Like, he was testing the night before just to see if he could get a negative test, and he couldn't, and he was afraid he'd get stuck in Jamaica.
Okay. Well, I was about to ask, did he feel bad?
No.
So what made him test, or what was
it? Yeah. I mean, he felt bad, like, in the beginning, but by the time we left, he was fine, but he couldn't get a negative test.
And he's not vaccinated, I guess.
No, he is vaccinated. He's a teacher. It was just that once you get it, you'll pop positive for a while.
And you have to take a negative test with you to Jamaica?
Not to get there, but to get home at that time, which I think it just changed.
Okay, I was trying to... So here's where I'm going with that. my thought process was, why the fuck did he even disclose it? You know, but if you get there, you don't want to get stuck.
Yeah, you can't get home, which they just changed that rule, like, when we were there. Like, when we walked into Jamaica, they were like, they scanned your chest for your temperature.
Internal core temperature. Yeah. That makes sense.
Does it?
Well,
I don't know.
Well, I think
they're like a clothes and everything. Like, normally they scan your head, and then they spritzed you in the face, in the hands with something. And I'm like, I don't know what this is, but thanks. And I just kept on walking.
That is odd.
Yeah, but
I can't for the life of me, and keep in mind, I'm not in the medical profession like your wife is.
Yeah.
I can't understand what they're looking for there.
I don't know.
Is it like when you're drunk and the police shine the light in your eye?
I think they're just checking a box that you need to make sure nobody's coming into Jamaica with a fever. So I think they check your shirt. So they're like...
No, I just mean the spritz part.
I don't know what it was.
Is that like if you have COVID, you flinch?
Yeah,
like,
I guess.
Like the light in your eyes from a cop on a sobriety test?
I guess we're all just coming in and maybe it's like rubbing alcohol.
I was going to say, so they're getting you with sanitizer.
Yeah, they're just sanitizing us as we walk by. I'm like, okay, thanks.
You were clean.
Yeah, got all the bad spirits off me. No, Jamaica was fun, though. We did Montego Bay, and...
that's where we went Montego Bay's the...
it's like right next to the airport.
Yeah, and it's... Normally the more family-friendly one.
Yeah.
They say, what is it? Not Negril, but the other one's the good one to go to. Starts with the O.
Ocho Rios.
Yeah, whatever. They say that one's the one but it's a jaunt.
Yeah, it's like an hour and a half. Yeah. And nobody really wanted to ride that far.
But and it's not a normal hour and a half. You go through all these checkpoints at 100 miles an hour, and then you have to slow down, and guys with guns peek in through the windows at you. Yeah. Here's the thing: most beautiful places on earth. There's a trade-off.
Yeah,
the most dangerous.
Oh yeah, I mean it's sad and sketchy. Like, in fact, we were going to we did the Luminous Lagoon, which is like where the
Luminous Lagoon. Yeah, you did the same thing we did.
Yeah, did they make you itch?
No,
after a while.
No.
Oh man, I think it. I don't know. If
did you eat at the restaurant before you guys went out?
No.
Okay,
but because we went out. So for those of you who don't know, Luminous Lagoon is where the river meets the ocean, and it's like
it's bioluminescent algae in there.
Yeah, it's like
it's actually
dinophalange. It's a tiny shrimp,
and it's actually fresh water.
It's brackish, technically.
Yeah. I mean, it comes in, but there's freshwater alligators in that thing and stuff like that.
Yeah, but they say there's not, but they don't tell you that.
But no, there really is. Yeah,
yeah, I know.
And so there's in fact, do you know that there are more bioluminescent bodies of water in the United States than anywhere else in the world?
No, I didn't know that.
And it's just you just don't know about it. You just because they're they're probably not in touristy areas.
Yeah,
like that.
Well, this is like a special type of. You've done it. You said.
Yeah,
right?
we did it. Yeah.
Did you jump in and swim?
Me and Hayden did. Yeah.
And
it's not that deep, so you got to be careful not to touch the bottom, because if you touch the bottom, you're fucked. Because then the mud comes up and you can't see it.
It's all gross silt. It's like a gross muddy silt.
Yeah, it's gross.
But but I mean, like when you stick your hands in there, it's like fucking Avatar. Like the blue's like moving around.
To say that it's dark when they turn the lights off is an understatement.
Yeah,
it is like
black.
It is what I can imagine the inside of a black. That's the only thing that worried me, just because this is not just black.
Like, you can't see shit.
No.
And there's 3 other boats out there with us. And like, it's not like that guy was like, all right, 1, 2, 3, counting us off as we were getting into the water. He was like, if you want to jump in, jump in.
So 2 members of my family were scared.
Didn't get in.
My oldest 2. Hayden was too young that she can't even remember it.
Yeah.
But she got in.
Yeah. It's cool as shit,
It was super cool.
Worth seeing. Yeah. Like, it's something you never see, like, anywhere else.
Yeah.
So we only did that excursion, and then me and Rach went to 7 Mile Beach or whatever and hung out. And I did a bunch of snorkeling there all day.
Oh, that's a good time.
It was cool.
Let's go back to the bioluminescent place, because there's really only one on the whole island. So we were at the same one.
Yeah.
But there's different little businesses that take you out.
Yeah.
We did one that had a little dance club and a restaurant.
Yep.
We ate at the restaurant.
I didn't eat.
Well, we were there, we got there early enough to where we had plenty of time.
Yep.
I wanted fried fish, native fried fish.
Mm-hmm.
I think I told the story on the podcast, but it's been so long.
I don't know if you did. I don't remember it.
Well, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but escovitch fish. Okay. And I ordered it, and the guy goes, "You sure? We make it our way." And I'm like, "Yeah, fuck right, yeah, dude. I don't want your fried fish."
Yeah.
So what they mean is they're going to bring you a fried fish.
With its head on?
It's descaled, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then fried, and its head and its bones. I didn't even know how to go about eating this fucking thing.
Yeah.
And plus, it's staring at me. It's staring. Now, I managed to get some meat off, and it's more challenging than eating fucking lobster tail or anything like or crab legs. It was as rewarding as eating a crab leg. It tasted good what I could get, but I was so unaware how I was stabbing myself with its bones and its fins, because its fucking fins are on there. So I had to turn my body away from my family because
they didn't want to see it.
They could not eat while I was eating that. Would I ever
just sit 4 tables down?
Am I happy that I did it? Sure. Am I, because of the experience? Would I ever in a million years order it again? Fuck no. It was disgusting. It was disgusting.
I'll try anything once, but I don't want my food to be looking at me while
Dude,
I'm trying
its eyes were just glazed over from being dropped in living deep fried.
Nope.
Yeah.
Felt like The Boys, episode 2.
Yeah. Gross. It was gross.
No, I didn't eat there, but we did, like I said, we did the 7 Mile Beach. But the thing was, it was just me and 5 women. And like...
Yeah, and it was fun though, huh?
Oh yeah, it was fun. I had a good time, but there was like at some point, I think it was the second day, because we all drank a little bit on the first day.
It's a lot of estrogen.
Yeah, well, we all drank a little bit on the first day. And there's a swim-up bar at our place, and then there's a regular pool. And they're all hanging out at the regular pool. So I was like... are we going to do this all day? Just hang out at the regular pool? And they were like, yeah, we're having fun. We're fine. They're just chatting with each other. I'm like, this is cool. I'm going to go to the swim-up bar. So I left, and I go to the swim-up bar, and I meet, like, these...
Which is where I would spend my entire time.
Oh, yeah. I shot my load pretty early, though. Because...
yeah, with 5 women, I would say so.
Yeah, no. But we sit down at the bar, and it's all these Europeans, and I'm chit-chatting with them. And they're like, I give the bartender $20, and I'm like, just keep it coming. And he's like, you want to do some shots? I'm like, you got them? Let's line them up, man. So we all start doing shots, and then these 2 chicks from LA come over, and they're like, you do tequila? I'm like, I do today.
Yeah, turns out, yes.
Next thing you know, I am blackout fucking drunk, and Rachel comes over, and she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, just having a good time with all my new friends here. And she's like, you want to go back to the room and have sex? Which, in my brain... I thought we were definitely going to do it. And
that was just how she got you away from
That's how she knew that I was too drunk and needed to go back to the room.
Lying bitch.
Yeah. So I get back to the room, and I don't obviously remember any of this. But I was cold, so I went and sat out on the balcony and passed out immediately. And then I got a bunch of text messages from people sending it, like the girls that are in the pool still, sending pictures of me passed out on the porch. But I slept for like another solid 6 hours, got up, went back, and did it again. I had a good time. I was having a blast. Played volleyball with some Europeans.
That's awesome.
Never fucking played volleyball before in the pool. And they just smashed the ball constantly. And they're like, is this how we play? I'm like, sure, it's good enough. It was fun, though, man. We had a good time. I'd like to go back and do like an Ochos Rios or Negril. I wanted to do a catamaran, but
yeah,
they packed so many damn people into that. I was like, I don't really want to do that.
As you were wrapping that up, I just counted. I don't know that this is necessarily the accurate judge of whether or not you had a great vacation or not, but I do think, for the purposes of our podcast, it's a good judge of how much fun you had. I checked into 18 unique beers in New York the 5 days we were there. Now, that's the uniques. I did drink some Big Waves. I drank some Coronas. I drank a lot of beer while we were up there. But to put that in comparison, though, the very first time me and Missy went to San Diego, I had 31 beers was what we checked into.
So New York wasn't as fun?
No, it was fun.
It's a lot of walking.
Well, we did about 8 to 9 miles a day.
Yeah.
We learned to do the subway pretty good, and we did. I just want to do. I'm not going to dwell on New York. I'm going to say here's what. Let me tell you here's my thoughts first. I think there's a sliding scale. There's a gradient scale, and it goes from the West Coast to the East Coast.
Okay.
And, people say your Midwestern sensibility and, a little slower pace than the East Coast. But definitely California. And I've been to California. I've been to L.A., been to San Diego, been to Santa Barbara, been out to L.A. California a handful of times. It's definitely the most laid-back area in the United States.
Yeah.
In fact, my friend that used to live out there, Herb, shout out to Herb, he invented the phrase the California saunter. There's no one in a hurry at California.
Yeah.
So don't get mad when you're walking and someone's in your way. That's just their speed.
Yeah, it's the opposite on the East Coast.
But it's a gradual scale. It gets more and more hectic as you get, because we'll be downtown St. Louis and we'll be walking in a hurry sometimes. But we won't get mad when people aren't. Well, sometimes we do, but we go around. We do get mad sometimes. But when you get on the East Coast, though, it's kill or be killed, buddy.
Yeah, it's a hustle all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
Literally all the time. And everything is about a mile and a half away from each other.
Yeah.
And that's a 2-hour ordeal.
Yeah.
And it's not even walking. Even though if you can run a 5-minute mile, in New York, that 5-minute mile is 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Everything's time and a half.
Well, and I like all the block. I'm like, oh, it's only 6 blocks away. That's like 12 everywhere else.
Here's
blocks.
something I've never seen in the rest of the world, too, because the only other times I've ever been to New York was specific to like a baseball game.
Yeah.
So all I've ever done is get really shit-faced and spend time. Not see sights. This was a tourist excursion, with my girls. Here's something I've never seen anywhere else. Here's something you got to figure in. What is the definition of a block? It is a area of buildings between two streets, right?
Yeah.
So they get you in New York, there's half streets.
Yeah.
16 and a half. So when somebody tells you it's 8 blocks away, sometimes they're not taking into account there's 16 and a half, 18 and a half, 19. So it's really like 9 blocks away. There's extra blocks in there.
Yeah,
a New York City block is not, and they also don't know the directions north, south, east, and west. It's uptown, downtown, and I'm like,
how many times did you get on the train going the wrong direction?
Never.
I did it once.
Apps, you got to live.
Well, I had that City Mapper app, but I got on. I was like, I feel like we're on the wrong side. I don't know. Let me get on. I'm like, damn it, we are.
I also too, and I'm not saying that you're not a worldly man, but I've also learned a long time ago. I abuse my concierge for everything.
Yeah,
and I make sure. I asked them before we would go. Plus, I had the benefit of my good friend Jared Roll, who is he's actually a professor at Ole Miss, but his wife's a professor at Columbia, and he lives up there. And he says, I live in Columbia, and he's like, unless you guys want to come up and see me up here, I'll meet you somewhere. I'm like, I can't see getting my girls to come up to Columbia. He's like, well, that's like 15-minute subway ride. And I go, well, don't say it like it's a different world. Yeah. Because I didn't know.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be like an hour and a half.
No, but, and which was awesome to see. I haven't seen him in 14 years since.
That's cool.
Yeah. So anyway, here's my notes about New York, though. Times Square is the worst place on the planet.
Yeah, it sucks.
There's nothing fun. Now, here's what people think. They're like, oh, is all the shops crowded? No, they're not. People want to be on Times Square as opposed to explore the shops around Times Square.
Yeah, so and you can't pee in any of them unless you buy something.
Well, if you find places that serve booze, that's how I get away with buying extra beer.
If you're standing in the M&M store with your 2-year-old daughter and your 8-year-old son has to pee, you're like, fuck.
They let you pee, but the line was long. And by the way, Hershey store better than M&M store. Hershey store was fucking awesome.
Was it? I can't remember.
It was basically the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup store, which is what's so awesome about it.
Either way,
but anyway, Times Square, the worst place in the world. I tweeted out about this and I Facebooked about this. Yankee Stadium, outside of Monument Park, it's probably the most bland ballpark I've ever been to since the old Busch. Monument Park's dead center field. And you go, it's only open 45 minutes before the game starts, and that's where they have all their retired plaques and all that stuff.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you meant...
Oh, in the stadium.
Got you. I thought you meant Monument Park was another stadium.
I do want to tell you the only New York hack that I learned that I don't... And it's funny, I'm going to steal a quote from my friend Jared here in a little bit. But anyway, so Yankee Stadium was as bland as you could fucking get. Mm-hmm. It's like... But, their colors are white and, dark blue. And so the ballpark's white. Well, it feels like a hospital. And it's built like Old Busch where you go up like 6 fucking zigzag ramps to get to your other level, which should be like easy. Plus, the shops are set up much like New York is set up, just a bunch of like food carts, and stuff like. It's not for as being the most expensive ballpark in America, and for having 27 championships. My buddy Jared, and this is not the quote I'm stealing, but I'm stealing 2 from him. He said it's what happens when you have a billionaire family that has never had taste in making anything. Yeah. So they just built this ballpark. Now I want to tell you my one life hack about it before I bitch about the last thing about New York. Here's my one life hack. For my New York hack. If you do go to a Yankee Stadium game,
probably won't, but okay.
They tell you, 90 minutes before the game, the gates open, and you want to get there before because the lines. I don't understand this, but because of the COVID rules, they only have half the gates open. But wouldn't it make sense to all the
Spread
gates
people
being
out?
open.
Yeah.
So all
It's got to be a staffing issue.
it's dumb. Yeah, it's dumb. But we got there thinking, well, it's going to be a while. So we got there 2 hours early, and I see a line. So I go. I'm like, what is this line? And they're like, because the fan shop in the Hard Rock Cafe in New York, and I got a glass back here from it in Yankee Stadium, Hard Rock Cafe. They go, well, the Hard Rock Cafe opens up 2 hours before. I'm like, oh, I looked at my family. You guys want to go in there? And they're like, yeah. So we get in line. We're maybe like 8 people in line. Get up to the woman. She goes, are you here for the Hard Rock? I go, yeah. She goes, now you do know once you get in, you can't get out. And I was taken aback a little bit. I go, oh. And I go, well, how do we get in the ballpark? She goes, oh, when the doors open, you can go in from there. But once you're in there, you can't get back out. I go, wait. So if I go in there, I beat the line? She goes, yeah. And I go, do I have to buy anything? She goes, no. And I go, okay, because I'm going to drink anyway.
Gonna buy something.
Well,
that's their logic. It makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't even. There are people that didn't. They just came in and stood in line. So here's the deal: we go in there, we sat down. The girls both get a couple of milkshakes. Me and Missy get a couple of beers. I did buy a shirt, and here's the thing: I got the large beer, so that glass was free.
Nice.
And it wasn't like the beer was $30; it was $14, and I got to keep the glass.
That's cool.
And actually, they gave me a fresh glass.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there,
You guys spit in it just
and the line,
authentic.
the line is starting to get big, and Missy's like, I don't know, man. She goes, maybe we made a bad decision because now we're gonna have to get back out and get in this line. So I asked our server, I go, hey, what do I do when the gates open? I mean, do I have to go get in that line? They're like, well, no, you guys are already in here. I go, okay. Well, then they started letting people in, and we tabbed out. And you know, me being that Midwestern sensibility, I walked around, and the woman who's waving people in, I go, hey, I don't want to be an asshole, but do I get to cut? And she goes, yeah, just walk behind me and get the fuck in there. And I'm like, all right, New York City.
Yeah,
New York.
that's awesome.
I go, why would anyone not go to
just hang out at Hard Rock for a minute.
So I asked my buddy Jared, I go, hey, how come they said that the line issue gets a little ridiculous? And I told him about Hard Rock. He goes, here's the deal you got to understand about New Yorkers. Regardless of what's going on inside the building, if there's a line, they will get in it.
Yeah.
Because they just assume there's something they want.
Yeah.
And he goes, so when they see
They're
lines.
just used to lines.
Yeah, they just get in lines. Like, that's just absurd.
Yeah. Well, that's like they always say, like Chinese people are. I don't want this to sound racist, but they always say like Chinese people seem rude and like.
Oh, it's their
pushy.
culture. It's their culture.
But they're also like, it's kind of like New York over there, where everybody's like
even
very
more
close
condensed.
quarters,
Yeah,
and they're condensed. So like. When a door opens up, they gotta get in there, or they're not making the train.
And it was super cool to go through like Hell's Kitchen, the Bowery.
See, I didn't get to do that. If I got to go back, I'd want to do it.
And that was awesome. And I sent you guys a text. No blind lawyers.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Here's the one complaint I did have. And keep in mind, we did not get out of Manhattan and away from the touristy stuff. But you know how many breweries I found?
There's none.
0.
There's none.
Not a brewery.
And
once.
I was there in 2017. And I could not find one.
Apparently, they're out in Brooklyn.
Yeah, they're in the boroughs.
Yeah,
and all that.
but not on Manhattan.
Yeah, no, there's nothing on Manhattan. It's too expensive.
Yeah, well, so we were reading. We were eating at this cool little Italian restaurant in the Bowery, and I will tell this one story, and then we'll move on to pop culture. I promise.
Philly's kind of like that too, though.
So we go to the Bowery because Kaylin went and saw this band called the Wallows before we left St. Louis.
Yeah, I saw that picture you sent.
So
I don't know who the fuck these people are.
So the Wallows, the lead singer you do know. He's in that show 10 Reasons or
10 Things I Hate About You?
No, the one
the Suicide one?
Yeah, the Suicide.
Okay.
He's the lead actor in that.
Okay.
So he's been in a lot of movies and shows. So he's a lead singer, and they just happen to have a pop-up shop in New York because they were playing New York when we were there. So we went down to the Bowery. Line was like 2-hour wait.
Jesus.
I know. So we go eat dinner or lunch and walk around a little bit. Go through Chinatown. And by the way, Chinatown and Little Italy in New York are 1 block apart.
Yeah.
You see it in movies and you're like,
yeah.
Oh, this is a whole part of New York. No, it's like 3 streets and they're a block apart.
Yeah.
So we get back in line, or we go back around just to see what it looks like. So by the time we get back, it would have been where she was in line, would have been about to go in.
Yeah.
And the fucking band showed up and worked the shop. And we were not there to go inside because we got her out of line because it would have been a too long a wait. And she was crushed. Crushed. I felt so bad. The fun thing was, though, when we were coming back, and it's probably the one of the pictures you alluded to, is this band Camp that we saw open up for the Lumineers. How random is it that we saw them open up for the Lumineers in St. Louis, and then we saw them at a hotel in Times Square?
That's funny.
I go, we saw you at St. Louis camp, and they turned and they're like, yeah, like you guys rock.
That's funny.
I couldn't convince Kaylin. The one thing Kaylin, my oldest daughter's got to get better at is she loves all these bands. She connects with them. I go, you got to get some balls to get a little brave and go start asking them for stuff. Like they would have taken a picture with.
Oh
you.
yeah, for sure.
The guy would have taken a selfie for her in the thing. She's like, well, I didn't want to start it. I go, he did it anyway.
Yeah.
Like just go do it.
Yeah.
No one's ever going to do it if you don't say something.
And it's like one thing if they're like trying to eat a meal, but if they're just like standing on the street anyway, they're expecting it.
We did go into FAO Schwartz.
Was that open now?
Yeah.
When we were there, it wasn't open.
And it is what every toy store from your childhood that you ever wanted, it looks like.
That is the only thing that Rachel wanted to do, and it had closed, I guess, after, like, not long after 2008, and it hadn't reopened yet.
Ooh, it was fucking awesome. Missy could not stand it because it was sensory overload. It was loud.
Yeah,
it was crowded. All the people were playing with the toys.
But we did the Macy's there, and Rachel was like, this is the coolest fucking Macy's.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like, obviously.
It's where they started.
Store.
Yeah, it's the store. So overall, it was a good trip, but, we still like San Diego better because I'm more laid back than I am hustle bustle.
I liked New York a lot. I liked the hustle and the run.
The boat ride was amazing we took at night. I mean, every borough is almost the biggest city in the United States.
Yeah.
And then you put them together and it's 5 times bigger than everywhere else. I loved it. And we could go back 5 years in a row and have a different vacation every time.
I want to go back really bad. I want to do it sans kids, though, because my kids are still kind of young.
100%. I'm in with you there. And my kids are fine because my kids do stuff. I will say this, and my buddy told me that in the last 3-4 months, the food prices have ramped up. Our average meal for the 4 of us was about $160.
That's not much different than when you go to Colorado in a couple of weeks.
No, I'll be down one kid in Colorado.
Oh, okay. So then you'll still be right around 100 then, because it's expensive.
What's going to happen? We're going to Denver.
Just Denver?
Well, the suburbs of Denver.
Slightly cheaper there.
I've been there. We've been there.
Yeah. Breckenridge, they get you in that touristy traffic.
Well,
where the
that's
fuck you gotta go?
That's
Here's another $20 added on.
We're going to Boulder. We're staying in Thornton. Here's the problem, though. In Denver, we got a driver in Kaylin. So I will not spend as much money on food, but I will spend a much more money on booze. In fact, I'm driving so I can bring booze back.
Oh, you're driving to Denver?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
11 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
We're doing it because by the time we fly out there for 4 people, rent a car, and then pay for gas, it's
same amount of money.
No, it's like 4 times more money than just driving. Yeah. And we have to have a car because she's gonna go tour the University of Boulder while we're out there.
Oh, okay.
And we want to go around places, you know.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
And Missy's car is a 2022.
Yeah.
She's had it for almost a year, and it's got 2,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
So
I get what you're saying. I rented a car while I was out there. I rented a Highlander.
I got a. I was seeing, but car rentals are so expensive now. Is why.
Oh yeah, it was $500 for. And I think I used it for 3 days.
Are getting a audiobook, so I can just put in my AirPod Pros, and which tunes out the family. Let them sleep. I'll just drive.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Today
You find anything you want to read yet?
A couple of things I've got saved. I just haven't pulled the trigger yet.
Okay.
I mapped it out to where we stop roughly 4 hours. We stop for breakfast. 4 hours we stop for lunch, and then 4 hours we're there.
Okay, that's not bad.
And then I always make slideshows for my girl. There's one thing says you get an additional 2 emergency stops, but we will try to fit our bathroom and gas breaks into those 4-hour blocks.
Oh yeah, I no longer let my wife or my kids have soda and car rides.
Yeah.
Because they just have to pee immediately. I'm like, water you will sip on, and we will make it.
Yeah, so we're gonna see how it is. But anyway, what else you got before we jump into pop culture stuff?
I think that's it, man. I mean, I think everybody's listening to us talk about vacations we did all year. I don't know if that's what they want, but
we talked about some fun stuff.
Yeah,
how to survive and go into a Yankees game. By the way, the Yankees won that game. And they hit a home run. I paid a lot of money.
Is that what you want?
I paid a lot of money for my seats because they have 2 prolific right-handed power hitters, and it's where they usually hit them. And the fucker hit an opposite field home run. So in left field, I didn't get my home run. But
that sucks.
The one cool thing is in the game, the West Point Academy, the college, the Army football team. The entire football team, college football team, was behind us.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
Because they were basically bringing awareness to the fact that Army Navy is playing this year in Yankee Stadium for the football game. So the whole Army team was there, and their 2 captains were the ceremonial flag holders down in the field. Cool. But that's pretty fun. A bunch of young, ripped kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's with what's much less ado. This is a brand new season 2, all fancy and improved. Throw it to Missy segment. Still badly named since she's no longer a part of the show.
I am not caught up on The Boys, but I did finish Stranger Things and Kenobi.
So let's start just real quick on The Boys. Herogasm is getting a lot of
I haven't watched it yet.
Attention.
I'm almost through the episode before that one.
I will tell you, I don't think it's as quite as shocking and crass, especially when we've watched shows like what's that porn industry show on
The Minx,
Minx, and
Minx,
and even Showtime or whatever, Winning Time. Those are a little. It's just superhero stuff. That said, it is as raunchy as a show as you're going to get.
I mean, like the first 15 minutes of the first episode this season.
Well, they managed to top it.
Yeah, did they top that?
They top it.
Okay.
Yeah, with 3 or 4 moments, but they're quick. They're quick. But it's worth. It is definitely.
Oh, I mean, I love the show. Yeah. I just haven't had time.
It's been a good season. I gotta tell you, the only thing I'll say before we move on, since you haven't watched it, the guy that plays Homelander should get all the Emmys. That guy tears it up.
Yeah, what's his name? Starts with an A. Something Star.
Yeah, and he's British.
Yeah, apparently got in trouble in like Australia or something, or Spain. He fought a guy, and then he was like, "You know who I am?"
Yeah, he apparently a dick, but still, he's unbelievably good this season.
Maybe he was just, in
bad day.
He was he was method.
He's a method. He's Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah,
he thought he could fly and shoot heat vision out of his eyes.
At least he just tried to pick a fight with a guy and didn't jump off a building.
Well, you're going to be pleasantly surprised when you catch up. But let's talk about 2 things we have caught up on. And we'll start with Stranger Things, since that one ended. Kenobi ended more recently, and since Stranger Things is coming back this Friday. What is
it really already?
Yeah. Well, it's just the final 2 episodes.
Well, I know. I thought I had more time than that.
So let's just say, if you could give a rating to what is part 1 out of 5. I believe if you go back to the tape, the only one that we gave a hardcore 5 to was season 1, and then I think we gave 4.5 to subsequent seasons. What is your rating for this season so far?
It's a 5.
It is a 6. It's so fucking good.
So much fun.
Eddie is such a great character.
Yeah.
The new characters are good. The girl that what's her name?
Max.
Yeah, just
the little girl, or the one who's being haunted by
the one that's being haunted by Vecna.
Max, yeah.
She's fucking great.
Yeah.
And I've also heard Dear Billy, the 4th episode, is it's going to be the most nominated show in the history of TV.
Why is that? Just
best directing, best writing, best guest performance, best editing. They said it's up for more awards than any show in the history of television.
It's just so like
the B story is great. Going to Russia.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
Oh man, that battle in the last episode with the Demogorgon is just fucking sick.
Oh man. Well, and speaking of that, the show has had moments where like the FBI raid the house.
That torture scene.
Well, that's when the kids are in there. That's an action movie.
Yeah,
it is so many good things this year rolled into one.
Yeah, it's definitely got like the real Freddy Krueger vibes with Vector being the bad guy. Vecna. And Vecna.
Yeah, there you go.
And I was like, it's some kind. We were a couple weeks behind because of vacations and like kids and stuff, and so I was like, I know that spoiler alert. The intern and
number 1.
It turns out to be number 1, who was also Vecna. I'm like, this doesn't line up time-wise. Why? But I guess it kind of does. I just thought it was. I thought the dad was like way back in the 50s, but I guess it was really only the 60s that.
It was 59.
Oh, was it 59? Okay, so it does line up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew. I was like, he's gonna be number 1.
I didn't think. I knew he was gonna be a bad guy. I didn't think he was gonna be. Well, and what's great is Vecna is not the bad guy.
No,
the Mind Flayer is still the bad guy, but Vecna was the Mind Flayer's. It was, and she didn't do it on purpose. And this is massive spoiler, so we're sorry. No, 11 by killing him created a way for them to open up and go back and forth, and that's
more
what
gates.
Yeah. And man,
Dustin is chewing up scenery.
Oh no! Well, and the combination, it's the best triple. The best triumvirate since the Three Stooges between Dustin, Steve, and Eddie.
Yeah,
and I know I gave Tom some shit via text because when Tom latches onto one character, he dives in with both feet, and he's like, I just find my time wondering what's Steve up to. I'm like, no, then you're missing because this. I got to tell you this, and again, going back to way back in the beginning of season 1 of this show. pulling out the drinking game. I'm going to be given to hyperbole, but I don't know that a show in a long time, certainly in a long time, or almost ever, has had this big a cast and had so many characters that are fucking do what they're supposed. They hit the mark. Even the bad guy, Jason.
Yeah.
He's a piece of shit and you can't stay him on the screen, but that's what he's supposed to be.
Yeah. Oh man, he's got that like
smarmy,
satanic,
smarmy piece of shit guy.
I like
the anti D&D stuff, which would fit the time period.
Yeah.
I guess
for those the only guy, like, I want him to not be like the butt of the joke. Is I want the sheriff to have like a moment, because like he's trying, man. He's like,
oh, the new sheriff.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Everything is weird. I'm just trying to keep shit under control.
Yeah, but I mean, between Hopper's character, man, I tell you, that's a show unto itself.
Yeah.
Hopper's trapped in Siberia and the shit he was putting himself through.
Mikhail. Oh, that's his son's name. Whatever the Russian buddy of his.
I hope he stays.
Yeah,
I
hope he gets to go back with
I don't want anyone to get killed in this show. And someone's got to. And if you've seen the trailer for the,
they kind of spoil it because it ends with Nancy being like caught by.
Well,
like,
but
then the trailer spoils it that she clearly gets out of it somehow.
Yeah, but
or you think she does.
Well, Eddie better not die. But the moment I'm looking for, because there was a very quick glimpse of it when they showed the original trailer. Hayden has the Funko Pop of Eddie, and he's got the guitar. And in this new trailer for the final 2 episodes, it shows him in the Upside Down grabbing the axe. Because, you know, music can bring you back.
Yeah.
He's going to shred in the... And I hope it's not his last stand to save everyone else, because he's so awesome as a character.
He's hilarious.
Yeah, but again, going back to what we were talking about, him, Dustin, and Steve together, like... Because he's, like... Him and Steve clearly both value Dustin's friendship more than anything.
They look at him
and it's why they don't like each other at first. Yeah. But then they start
teaming up. Like, because a little cocky.
Oh yeah, he goes. It's his tone. He goes right. Those scenes are so good. I mean,
but like when they jump between like plot lines and stories, like even when they jump to the lab where things slow down, it's like the intensity just like builds in that scene. They do such a good job with like the music.
Yeah.
And
Max getting away from the Upside Down was so intense. I mean,
yeah.
It is true. I think that it's done something that not a lot of shows that we've covered on this show has done. It is truly, I think, the best season so far. And that's high praise, because season 1 was so fucking good.
I mean, season 2 is the worst season, and it's still a solid 4.
And they got rid of all the extra stuff in that. But what I also told my wife and my girls as we were watching, me and Hayden's getting to the age where she takes deep dives into things now. So me and Hayden, like, we were talking about it. Like, when we went and saw Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
She was her stomach hurt after she ate fries, so she didn't really talk about it. About 2 days later, we were riding out to the soccer complex, and she starts breaking it down and talking to me about it. I go, oh, this is all I've ever wanted out of a kid.
Yeah.
But so Stranger Things, that we were doing that, and like I told her, I said, I got to tell you, to be honest with you, I find myself watching shows, and with the exception of things like Breaking Bad. Sopranos, I certainly think, is a victim of this. I call it, and he still has an open invitation to come on our show. Yeah. I call it George R.R. Martin syndrome. I think that more than often than not, when someone sits down to write something, they don't have an idea where it's going.
No.
I do think that the Duffer Brothers knew where this was going, because tying it into it into the story, the flashback with Robert Englund's character, I was like, this all worked so good that it couldn't have been an accident.
No, yeah. I mean, like, they at least had a beginning and an end, and they can flesh it out in the middle, but...
And we haven't talked about Argyle yet.
Yeah.
The long-haired smoker. He's awesome.
Oh, yeah. He's hilarious.
He's hilarious and everything.
And, like, and Jonathan's, like almost a nothing in this, episode, but I kind of like his existential crisis that he's going through. Like, that's some realistic shit for
Jonathan, Mike, and Will are very much in the backseat, and I think that's on purpose.
Yeah.
But I think that these final 2 episodes, when they all come together, it'll make sense. And then I think we've got one more season.
Yeah.
By the way, the only other show that I think is executing a definitive plan better than this one so far, Ted Lasso. He had a 3-part story.
Yeah, and they're ending it on their terms.
Yeah, that's what
I'm fine with.
Yeah.
I'm sad. Like, I'm heartbroken, but like I could watch Ted Lasso over and over again.
For those that don't know, Jason Sudeikis, Paul Rudd, David Koechner, a lot of these guys are from the Kansas City, Missouri area. They have this group called Big Slick. And every year they have this big fundraiser where they raise money for homeless and stuff in Kansas City. This past weekend was the Big Slick poker tournament. That's their big thing. And Paul Rudd and Dave Kickner, they've released a press statement saying, unfortunately, we have to announce some sad news this year that Jason Sudeikis will not be in attendance. We will bring 30 of our best celebrity friends to replace him because that's what it takes. Yeah. And the only thing that keeps us going at night with him not being here, it's because they're wrapping up on Ted Lasso season 3, and we're all bigger fans of the show than we are friends of him. I was like, that's perfect. I can't wait for that. So,
they released some photos today. I guess some behind the scenes.
Can't wait.
Out there, he's got the full mustache going on again.
So I guess the way too soon to review the entire season. So far, we're all the rating stars for Stranger Things. But let's talk about another show that got a lot of shit initially and throughout the process. And I even, after the first episode, was a little worried. I believe that's the last conversation we had, or maybe we talked maybe we talked via text. Let's talk about Kenobi, Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's came and gone.
Yeah.
Let's give a rating first, and then let's talk about why.
Overall, like if I'm overarching the whole thing, 3.5 out of 5.
If you would have asked me after the first episode, I would have gave it a very low 3, like almost a 2.75. If you'd asked me after the third episode, I probably would have went with 3.5. The final episode puts me at about a 4.
Yeah, that's 4. What I was gonna say. What I was gonna say is, if you're gonna ask me about the last episode,
it's a
5 out of 5.
First show we've done a big sliding scale on because
it was kind of all over the place though.
Well, the very first episode with the chase through the city with young Leia, I was like, well, this show is gonna be fucking awful because Disney has to put a kid in everything they do.
Yep.
We got lucky with the Mandalorian that the kid happens to be a 50-year-old Yoda or Grogu.
And he doesn't talk.
He doesn't talk. Yeah,
and that being said, Leia fully redeemed herself. She was a great character by the end.
Much better by the end. But they were doing the typical Disney spoon feeding her to us in the first episode, and I was like, well, I'm not going to like this.
Well, like the whole flea thing and like the chase.
It was dumb.
It was clunky.
It badly filmed.
There was a lot of badly filmed scenes in the first 3 or 4 episodes.
The girl who... Now, I will say this, and I said it in our text thread. The internet went hard on the...
I'm going to look her up
I can't think of her name, but the black woman who...
Third sister.
They went hard on her. Now, here's the problem I have with that. Well, I hate the internet. The internet that hates her and the
Moses Ingram is her
name. Moses Ingram. Moses, I'm going to go hard on you, and then I'm going to apologize and hopefully redeem it. She was not good in the first episode. Her acting in the first episode to me was forced. There was no emotion in it. It was bad, but it was almost like throughout the process of the show, she found her character because by the final episode, she was pretty fucking great.
But, they made her angry right out of the gate. You didn't really understand it.
Well, yeah, but it was that happened with Kylo Ren in the movies. But fortunately for us, Adam Driver just happens to be a great actor.
But
she did not act well. The second episode, it was third episode, I was like, oh, okay, she's starting to settle into the role. Yeah,
like she's a theater trained actor apparently.
Yeah, much better than now. Here's the problem with me saying that: the fucking incels that are loud on the internet are hating her just because she's a black woman, and they're bad. They're pieces of shit. I can sit back, not judge her because she's certainly a better actress or an actor than I'll ever be.
Yeah,
but tell you, I did not like her performance early, but by the end, she was one of the better parts of the show. Exactly.
At the end, I thought the same thing. Like right out of the gate, I was like I don't think she's deserving the hate she gets because every scene felt a little clunky, like for the first couple episodes, and I don't know if it was like
she didn't deserve the hate, but it was okay to have some criticism.
But I don't know if it was just her. I think it was the directing too. Was sort of a problem.
Rough. There was
a lot of weird cuts, like the chases, looked like they were stopping before they cut the film, like reaching slow. I didn't like any of that. Even the Voorhees chase with when Obi-Wan and Vader fight the first time, I felt like did they film this in an abandoned warehouse?
But that's a good point to bring up, though. That's when the show took a turn for the better.
Did.
When Vader got on it.
Yeah.
Even with the flashback stuff that's clearly CG'd, it was nice.
Well, it's okay. I didn't mind that.
Well, but it was nice to give Hayden Christensen, who, by the way, we've done something weirder too. That for all the crazy hate that the internet gives people, it's very oddly on board with second chances right now with Disney stuff and Marvel stuff. Because listen, those Andrew Garfield movies were not great. Andrew Garfield was good in them, but everybody, when he came back and was in Spider-Man No Way Home, people were like,
"Oh, I don't think that was his fault."
No. But I mean, it was like always forgiven. Like with Hayden Christensen, who was not great in bad movies, but they're like, "Well, he deserves a second." Like, and I'm okay with it. But when did, as the internet, decide to give people second chances?
White dudes, man. White dudes.
Maybe that's what I'm looking for. But he did get a little redemption, and he did get to be Vader for the first time.
That last scene, like, and we're again spoilers, so stop now.
Massive spoilers.
But that last scene when he cuts his helmet, and like his voice is switching between his own and James Earl Jones,
and he's in the makeup. He got to be Vader.
Yeah, and that's awesome.
And this is a Vader that we want. This is the one thing they've done since Rogue One.
Yeah.
Is give us a Vader that we should be scared of. Because, in the 80s, Vader moved like, because he was clunky, big suit.
And the
special effects have gotten better.
They've sort of retconned that a little bit, where he's 100% in pain all the time.
Yeah, but I mean, like, because of video games and stuff, we see him grab a starship, and we see cool shit.
Yeah.
Now, all of that said, the final fight was awesome.
Yeah.
It was good seeing...
Thank God there was no lava.
And it was I was worried too. But it was awesome seeing Kenobi too, because Kenobi, for those that don't read the comics and don't read the books, and there was those that were just fans of the movies.
Didn't even watch the Clone Wars cartoon, because he's a badass in that.
For those that are just movie fans, which movies was the heart and souls of this franchise.
Yeah.
You didn't understand why Kenobi was so respected. By the end of this show, you realize, oh, he's a stud. When he threw those rocks off of him, that was him saying, you know what? I've got it in me. Yeah. And he went up and whooped Vader's ass.
Yes, this is an existential crisis.
So whooped his ass.
Yeah.
Whooped his ass.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah. He's like, I'm still your master, bitch.
Yeah. And just so good. So good. Now, there was a couple of things. When Vader was about to beat him up early in that first fight, and he's chasing him, and she shoots the thing, and the fire splits across.
Yeah.
Why can't you just still reach through there and grab him?
Either that or just suppress it. You got force.
He grabbed a starship just popped in the room, was like, oh shit, and grabs it. But he was so surprised by this, he couldn't collect his thoughts.
His anger hadn't built enough.
I don't know. Here's the only issue they have with Jedis in the entire history of this thing, whether it's TV, books, comics, or movies. It's up and down on choose to win and how strong they are.
Yeah, sometimes they can jump from skyscrapers, and then other times they fall off a cliff and they're dead.
So there was that, and then, and this is not a big complaint, but I in a text thread I said something and no one brought it up, said anything about, but did you find it odd or refreshing? Which school of thought are you into that there was no post-credit scene? Because they kind of did a pre-credit scene. Like, they gave us a couple of endings to let us know where it's going, but to not have a post-credit scene is pretty big.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. And then, it was weird, but I don't think that's because they don't know where they're going with this. They didn't know how this was going to be taken. I thought they would at least lead into Andor or Ahsoka's show.
Yeah,
Ahsoka would be they both are the next timeline. They're timeline adjacent.
I will say this: as much as I did enjoy this, and much as I've enjoyed Mandalorian and Boba Fett, certainly, I still think Boba Fett was much more disconjointed than this was.
Yeah.
Boba Fett was like 2 separate shows. 3, really.
Yeah.
But I do want them to wrap up and move on to something else.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Whatever Taika Waititi's got going on, because it's supposed to be like its own thing.
We're to the point now where we can just say, whatever Taika Waititi's doing, we're in. We're in.
I mean, apparently the reviews on Thor, not to get off topic, are spectacular.
Well, you know why? Because Ragnarok is arguably one of the better Marvel films and so...
The only complaint I've heard is that I laugh so hard that sometimes I've wanted it to be a little less funny.
Yeah, but... that's not going to bother me.
No, that's not going to bother me either. I like it. I like the ridiculousness of Ragnarok, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. Like, I'm done. That being said, though, like, Rogue One is still like my favorite show, and I'm excited for Andor. I hope they don't ruin that because I liked that character a lot, and I would like to see
Caspian.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I would like to see them wrap up the what are they, the Red Sun or whatever, the Han Solo storyline. I'd like to see something of that wrapped up because Emil Clark, like that was an interesting ending, and it led into like something that was not Jedi related for the most part. I mean, it had Darth Maul in it, but at least it was like crime lord stuff. I thought that was kind of cool.
You brought up a good point for me. I will say this. Don't get me wrong. All of Star Wars has a value to it. Yeah. And I would have not thought that I would have said this until I did see Obi-Wan. I like my Star Wars better with Jedis.
No,
I mean, I love, don't get me wrong, I love Mandalorian and I love Boba Fett, but remember,
I mean, they're the heart and soul of the show.
Jedi,
they're the heart and soul.
Lightsabers are just so awesome.
Yeah,
Still one of the
go back then. I think that's ruining it. Is like go back and let's do some of that old guard stuff, like
the
Knights
Old
of the
Republic. Yeah,
stuff.
which they are apparently going to do some stuff on that.
Apparently, those comics are pretty good too. I just haven't read.
I need to check them out. Hoopla's got them.
Yeah, because I went back and started reading Star Wars again, and I'm just like. I read I think there's like 20 issues on there.
I gotta read it because you love those.
There. Well, I'm like through the 10th one, and I just kind of got worn out from it. Like I'm just like oversaturated.
Well, you can suffer some fatigue. I do that with fantasy. And you asked me before the show started, I think, or maybe asked me during the show, what books am I going to listen to? I'm a big sword and sorcery person.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of books that I've been thinking of buying. I'm like, I'll just get the audio. And I mean, at the end of the day, I'm going to have 24 hours of driving between 2 days.
I got a couple that I listen to on Hoopla. I'll give you again.
I'm going to check those out, and then but yeah, you can get fatigue from something.
Yeah, absolutely. Like
you know what? To Disney's credit and Kevin Feige, you could even get superhero fatigue from movies. They've been on a pretty good break up until this last
And I'm
until
enjoying
Spider-Man hit and then Multiverse of Madness. Now we're like, okay, now we're slowly ramping up back into the superhero movies.
Yeah, because they did a lot of the lower stuff, and I like Miss Marvel. I've watched 2 episodes of that. I thought it was fun.
I finished the first 3.
See, you're one ahead of me. And so far, I liked it. I think she just got her powers. I think it's a fun kid-style show.
The same thing I'll say about Hawkeye, although I think Hawkeye's still the superior Disney Plus show.
I agree.
What was good about Hawkeye is what's good about Miss Marvel is it's different. And then Moon Knight was different.
Yep.
It kind of was self-contained. Now, Miss Marvel's not self-contained because it's bringing in some other stuff, too, and Hawkeye certainly wasn't.
But it's like a refreshing, almost Spider-Man-esque vibe.
And here's the thing, too, and I'm sure the incels somewhere are complaining, but anyone that would bitch about, well, first, they can't bitch at how woke it is because the whole point of Kamala Khan is it was written, and this they're not forcing, quote-unquote, forcing a Indian character on us.
No, she is Indian,
but
or Pakistani.
Pakistani. Sorry, Middle Eastern. How about that? What we can say, though, is that girl is fucking good at her job.
Oh yeah,
she's very good.
Yeah,
very good. In fact, everyone on it.
What's her buddy's name?
Yeah,
Bruno.
Yeah, all of them are good.
Yeah, they're all really
good.
The
parents are good.
Yeah,
and you're supposed to have some trouble with the mom because she's such strict, but she's great.
And they're not shying away from that culture. Representation really matters.
The brother and the wife are. The brother he's the ultimate He's the ultimate Paul Rudd from Clueless. He's just this goofy big brother, but he's so enjoyable when he's on screen.
Absolutely, and he's trying to be that cool big brother, but also doesn't want to lose the good graces that he's gotten obviously by being a nerd.
Yeah. Oh, good show. It's a good show.
It's great. I'm having fun with it.
I still do have at the end of the day, and I get why they did it. I do have some issues. The fact that they changed the Inhuman roots that she has.
Well, it's because the Inhumans they don't want to talk about.
Yeah, I wish that they would have found a way to do it and still had the bracelets or whatever. But still, the bracelets, they did. Now they did try to. They did try to give us. It's not the bracelets that are magic, but they unlock the Gen power inside her, which is good. I like it because
they're all. She's gonna be connected at some point to like the 10 rings and all that.
It's got to be some kind of magic weapon.
Same sort of like,
and we know for a fact that she's going to be connected to actually Captain Marvel because the name of the next film's Marvels.
Yeah,
so,
it's her and Monica Rambeau
and Carol Danvers.
Yeah,
which is gonna. I'm on board on that. I'm on board with that.
Did you see today that the Russo brothers said they wanted Chris Evans to be Wolverine?
Yeah,
fuck you. Let somebody else.
Yeah, they do need to let someone else do it, but the art looked really good. I wish they could find a. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I don't want this guy, but what they need is a Zac Efron type guy. He's just too dreamy to be Wolverine. But they need it.
Like, what's that dude from
Scott Eastwood or
Scott Eastwood would be cool, or like but Kid Harington. He's already
Steve from the Billy from Stranger Things, the bad guy.
Yeah, Billy from Stranger Things. I don't know if he's got the acting chops.
But when I say Zac Efron, the only thing I mean because of his size, he's not a big guy.
Yeah,
we want a Wolverine that's not a big guy because Hugh Jackman's like 6'2".
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, what about that dude from they were talking about from the. Well, they all dress up, the suit guys, and they spies and shit. I can't think of it. The gentleman.
Yeah.
I can't think of the name of it.
From the Kingsman.
Thank you. Yeah. Jesus Christ, I could not think of that.
What's his name? Now, I would have known his name.
Edric Airy? No.
No, you're kind of combining Idris Elba and Edgerton.
Let him do it.
Edgerton.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a weird first name, too. But, he would be good. I would be on board with him. You just dirty him up a little bit and say
Taron Egerton.
Taron is what it is. Yeah, Taron. Also, by the way, Emmy-nominated or Oscar-nominated actor. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, like, he's talented. Maybe he just can't grow a beard, and that's the problem.
Doesn't matter. They make him Elton John, for fuck's sake. You know? He's probably the casting I'm most on board with.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he can bulk up a little at his sides like they all do.
Did you see that the dude who's playing who was the nerdy kid in my brain's not working anymore.
You're drinking too much high ABV
Jason
beer.
Sudeikis and
Adam Warlock. He's playing Adam Warlock.
Yeah, playing Adam Warlock.
And he's ripped.
Yeah, absolutely ripped. But you see, he came out and was like, this diet is completely unsustainable.
Oh yeah, he's like, well, by the way, and I made this comment too. He's a nerdy kid on that.
Yeah.
But in the Scorched Earth, those movies.
Oh, I never watched them all.
He's a badass in those movies.
Is he?
Yeah, and you're like, in fact, he's the bully. He's not small.
Yeah.
He's not like short.
He's a big dude.
Yeah.
He's like 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah,
like my size.
And in that, and you see against other real actors, he's bigger than them.
Yeah.
So he makes sense for Adam Warlock. I'm on board with that.
I was fine with it. His hair looks cool, and he's dating Florence Pugh now, so good for him.
Yeah, just all the way around.
Yeah.
Just wait, he's dating Florence Pugh.
Yeah.
I thought she was dating Zach Braff.
Nah, according to the Winter Soldier chick.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's dating. She was with him on some beach somewhere a couple weeks ago. According to Twitter, I don't know.
Wow,
Twitter's all covered in other political news now.
Yeah, well,
there was like a 1 week period where I got to see updates that weren't political. But I'm pumped for that. Are you pumped for this new Game of Thrones that's coming out?
Yeah, dude, she's still with Zach Braff.
Is she?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been together for a long time. He's 21 years older than her, by the way.
That's gross.
Yeah, but if we were him, good job, buddy. High five.
Still gross.
What were you just saying? Let's go back. I don't know what we were talking about with all those things. I don't know that there's anything else pop culture necessarily that I need to talk about.
We got to talk about Ezra Miller. How he's crazy.
We missed an episode on him too. When this first whole thing hit, we really stopped talking.
Escalating.
Yeah, now he's getting charged. They're accusing him of what's called housing. In fact, he's getting
grooming and
he's getting charged on laws I didn't even know were a thing.
Yeah,
which is incredible.
Like he was like giving minors drugs and alcohol, but then he was also keeping like a couple minors at I don't know how much of this is real. And
he's a bad person.
Yeah, I mean he's clearly crazy.
And he was taunting the police with like Instagram posts.
I'm another universe.
Yeah.
He's fucking wacko.
Yeah. So he killed. If we needed any more nails in the coffin to reboot the DCU,
Snyderverse, I guess.
That's it. There's a lot of people that said now that it's DC. What's it called? DC Discovery or Warner Brothers Discovery. Now that they're all one. we could relaunch it. We're okay with relaunch it. Just give Henry Cavill another chance.
Well, not only that, the thing I feel sort of bad about another podcast I was listening to is like they're obviously trying to figure out how to market this movie. Which Warner Brothers, if they're personally, I think they should just come out and say like, "Hey,
HBO Max, you can have it."
Well, that and just say like, "Hey, we don't condone any of his behavior," but there's a lot of actors in this movie that are getting their
actors.
shot.
There's a lot of staff. There's a lot of production people that they're.
Please don't judge our movie by this guy because like by any means, there's a new whoever's playing Supergirl is a fairly new actress.
But since you're going to have Michael Keaton renewing his role of Batman, put him on before the movie starts, kind of the way they did Tom Cruise on Top Gun, and
say, hey, real life events. Sometimes come over this thing. Yeah. Either that or just replace him with Tig Norton.
Tig Notaro, yeah. By the way, that's something we can bring up. I did go see Top Gun.
I did not. I just don't care.
It should be seen in the theater.
I know. I just don't have time.
Unbelievably good.
Yeah.
As a movie, as an experience. Now, the plot and the way they get Tom Cruise running is even better. They get him running twice in this. So this is a big spoiler alert warning for you guys.
Okay, I don't care.
At one point, the movie happens, and then the mission happens. Well, the good thing about this, there's an actual mission they're training for, unlike the original Top Gun, which just happened to be in a skirmish that happened.
Yeah.
But that happens, and then there's some shoot down, and then it becomes behind enemy lines. They
had to run to find another F-14 or whatever, right? Yeah. It's like the original plane.
It's so silly. It's so cheesy. But here's what's great about it. There's things and it's what he does. One, these are all real effects.
Yeah.
Plus
it's $11,000 an hour to rent those planes.
Yeah. So the very beginning, though, they do a plane that looks futuristic. So
it's an F-22.
No, not in the beginning. And there's no F-22s in it's the F-18, and the bad guys have what is actually looks like an F-22, but it's actually a 5th generation. Here's what it is, so that the X-Men's plane is based on the SR-71.
Yeah.
Well, the SR-71 is retired. There is a brand new plane called the SR-72 Dark Star, which is a cool name for a jet.
Yeah.
That's what he's test flying in it, and that plane is what they're trying to get to Mach 10. And that's what he does at the beginning of the movie. So that plane is real.
Okay.
And it's so awesome.
Yeah.
And then they get in the F-18s during the movie.
Yeah.
But they face a Russian, well, they don't ever say Russia, but they face a jet that's Russian. It's 5th generation. It does look like the F-22. But what's cool is at one point, it pulls out a maneuver that Maverick's character and Rooster's character goes, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
And it's like the only, or what the shit, or it might be the only F-bomb. And it was, because it goes up, like, how he hits the brakes? Mm-hmm. Well, it goes up, and then it tumbles like a cartwheel. And that's real.
Yeah.
They really can do that in that jet. And it's like, that's unbelievable. Like, all the stuff in that is cool. And when you see them, and what makes it cooler, especially in the movie with the noise and the surround sound, and like Missy was really distracted by Tom Cruise's quote unquote acting, and I said, well, that's the point. Like, she's like, he made such weird noises. Yeah, when they're doing Mach 3, Mach 4, he's he's not acting.
Yeah, no, there's a camera in front of him. They're really flying like that.
Yeah.
It's not a green screen.
I said this in the text, and I'll stand by this for the episode. It is the dumbest plot in a movie I enjoyed as much as I did.
Yeah. I haven't heard anybody say it's not great.
Here's the hot take. It's twice as good as the first Top Gun.
Okay.
And still the bad dialogue. Still like everything about it.
Yeah.
But still worth watching.
Yeah.
So that's all I've got. I mean, we went over. It's in our return episode. I guess it's kind of good, too. I mean, I guess it's appropriate that the officially season 2 of the PC Bombcast starts with just me and you, which is how the whole thing started.
Really started. I mean, this unofficial relaunch.
No, it's officially season 2.
Okay.
It just nothing changes.
Okay. I'm alright with that. Why change what already works?
You know what it's like? It's like episodes 4, 5, and 6 of Star Wars. Yep. Nothing really changed. It's the exact same story. We're just,
just going to keep going with it.
Yeah. You got anything else before we wrap it up?
I don't. Anything else would just be killing time.
Be redundant?
Yep.
Monotonous? Let's call her good then.
Let's go. Hold on to your butts, people.
And there's no other people to say goodbye, so that's the one we're going to go with, and we're playing the music.